Welcome back to Beyond the Pump, where we are going to break down the things you need to be thinking about as you transition from an in-person trainer to an online trainer. And listen, if you're going from online to in-person, which I honestly think would be a pretty epic thing in this day and age, you're just going to reverse the things or make sure. We're going to talk about them in two different ways. So for me, and just kind of kicking this off, Andrew, the biggest thing that I find, the biggest conversation that happens from somebody in person to online is I don't know how to get clients online, or what do I do? That's always this conversation that pops up. Our Facebook group, it says it in the school community. There's people who have asked that question in Instagram. I've gotten DM that. It's like, I don't know how to get clients online. And my quick knee-jerk answer is going to be, it's the exact same way that you got clients in person. You talked to somebody, created a relationship, provided enough level of value that they trusted you, and then they signed up for training. It's literally it. Those are the steps, right? And maybe you can make it 5 steps instead of 4, or 3 instead of 4, whatever, but that's the journey. Talk, trust, sell. It's not anything more than that. Here's what happens though. On the internet, it's harder to create a relationship with somebody, and most people are pretty guarded that you just want something from them. You want to take their money. So if you're on Instagram cold DMing a bunch of people, it's going to take longer, more repetitions, but it will happen. Man, 5 years ago, I would say you should never cold DM somebody. I was brainwashed into saying that that was the right thing, though. Today, I would tell you, I think cold DMing is actually a pretty good strategy to go out and grow your network. But the rate at which it's going to take all these people you're cold DMing until you find somebody that becomes a client, it's going to take time, and it's going to take a lot of people. Doesn't mean it's bad, but it means you're just going to have a lot of those conversations. The thing about it, though, is you have to find a way to create a relationship. Guess what? Every single person that they follow that does health and fitness responds to them, are you following me because of my content or just because you're on your fitness journey? You know why? Because some DM Instagram guru told everybody to say it. So guess what? If you say the same damn thing, no one's out there going to be like, oh, okay, this guy's serious. It's the same thing that everybody else says. So be you, right? If your shtick is talking to some certain population of people, have those conversations. Don't be afraid of turning away the right people and welcoming in the right people there, right? So push the wrong ones away, pull the right ones in, and have the conversation. You don't have to have magical content. You don't have to have all of these things. You ultimately just be able to have some conversations and see if you truly can help somebody. Now, I'm going to throw it over Andrew's way from like a delivery perspective, but the mechanisms are the same on this front end side. It's just harder. Think about it. When you meet somebody in person, you got mannerisms, you got body, you got a lot more tonality than just messaging and things like this. It's way easier to understand what's going on. So first, you got to have conversations. That's the only way you're gonna get better at it.
Making that transition it's a pretty big jump for a lot of people, and being able to see what people are doing, to Steve's point, being able to look at their shoes they're wearing or establish some kind of bond or some kind of commonality is a lot easier when you have a lot of different hooks that you can grab onto. And I think one of the biggest things that to piggyback on Steve's idea of comment on having people that reach out to you and say, hey, are you following me because you're on your journey or whatever? I've only had that happen a couple times because admittedly I don't follow a lot of those bigger influencers, but it's such a lazy way of going out and creating some actual meaningful connection. They literally have most people will have an entire profile of different things, and there's at least 3 or 4 posts on there that have some kind of indication of their interest, their family, their whatever. And if you genuinely want to build your audience, which again, I think is really important to, just network and come at it from that perspective versus trying to sell everyone everything that comes across your desk. That's not going to lead itself to any kind of longevity, especially today. But yeah, go review their stuff, find something on there. Go, I think that there's a couple different automation systems that we've played around with, going liking a couple posts, sending a DM, right? And so there's a lot of different things that exist to that degree. But if you want to go and make those connections, you have to have something to hook onto. And that requires that you understand the person that you're engaging with a little bit to some small degree. And FDR, the US president way back when, had a great policy where he would spend all night the night before meeting a foreign dignitary, and he would research their interests, their hobbies, their social customs and courtesies, and then he was really renowned for being a accomplished diplomat. And so it's no different. Dale Carnegie, similar things. Always be excited to see people. A lot of those principles carry over into these human connection ideas that are just so lacking, because someone just, again, Steve's point, people will go and get a playbook, and they don't understand why the playbook exists in the first place, and they literally just do the step-by-step process without.
Well,
it gets weird.
You got companies like ManyChat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I use ManyChat, right? So I'm going to throw it out there. But if I was actively like really trying to force grow this thing, like it was my big priority, ManyChat would not be my step one. But the reality is ManyChat's $25 a month, which means I can spend $25 and not do the work and have the hopes and dreams that it's going to work. And that's literally the issue. That's why people do it. It's like, oh, if I pay this, then I hope and it might work. And I'm buying this opportunistic opportunity, hope, dream thing land that, oh, it's going to message everybody and make me money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not really how it works. I'm not saying it's never happened, but I'm saying it's certainly not the norm. And I'm just going to say it. You're being fucking lazy in the most loving way possible. Go out and human to human connection, message 10 people a day. That's no more than 30 minutes of work, as Andrew's suggesting. And I promise you, get a way better response than the scaled up version that the guru sold you. Chances are he sold it to you anyways, because he wants to make his affiliate commission, frankly.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's interesting when we think about the process of how to tactically go out and execute this stuff. When we say DM 10 people, the idea is that you're starting a conversation with a stranger in hopes that you do have something in common, that maybe they are a great fit for whatever you have to offer. Or if not, then, you just, hey, high five, cool, just go about your life. That's really the nature of cold DMs, the people that do it well anyway. And it's just a volume game. You try to accumulate, a big enough bench that you can put on your roster if you're in the coaching space. And, I think it was 52 conversations. We actually did some data collection. 52 conversations led to like 3 consults, which led to 1 client, and that was just the rough ratio. And I think the impressions or the circulation was closer to like 400 or 500 people had to see something. 100 would kind of engage, 50 would book, and you kind of go down this pipeline here. And if we hold true that 50 conversations is how many you need to have to book 3 consults, which is, by the way, it's kind of not great, but it's what we had as an average data, then the way that you would think about this is, how do you go find 50 people to have a conversation with and not want to kill yourself? Because frankly, like, there are people that I would not want to be stuck in an elevator with. And how do you think that's going to come across now from a social connection perspective? I'm going to be weird because they're being weird, and the energy we get and the energy we reflect will then directly
be weird because they're being weird, Andrew. Come on, they're gonna be weird because you're weird.
I'm gonna be weird because I want to have fun, and I'm gonna shake some shit up. So if they're gonna be dry and boring, I'm gonna put some sauce on it.
So I guess on the other side of this, it's funny. I was always an in-person trainer, and then I start working for companies like NCI, and then I get a coach recommended by Jason and everything. And the first recommendation I got, like, it was awful. Like,
was he your first online coach?
He was, yeah.
Ooh,
it was so bad. And I'm not going to blast or blow him up, like, whatever. But I remember paying like $2,000, no receipt, no clear defined
Did you pay
next
for it
step.
up front?
Yeah. And like all of these things. And I remember it was like, oh, each morning have eggs and a bagel. And 5 years ago, Steve was very much like, well, bagels are bad for you because it's carbs. Like Andrew and I always joke, but like, I'd ask the question, what's better, rice or sweet potatoes? And like, talk about priorities being mixed up. So yeah, you got to go have conversations with clients. But now when you get the client, which is potentially the more important thing to a really long-term sustainable business, don't fuck it up by giving them no information, clear next steps, and a really terrible experience. So Andrew, online coaching, like, what are 2 or 3 things that we need to think about from an online coaching side, like service delivery, to really make sure it lands?
I mean, shit. If you have to ask that question, I don't think that you should be online coaching, frankly, because this is the truth. Like a lot of people will romanticize online coaching, or it's more scalable. You can work from wherever. You have complete time freedom. By the way, if you work for yourself, there's no such thing as time freedom because you always shackled to work. You're good, like you work when people are available. You're at the mercy of someone's schedule all the time if you're delivering a service. It's just the nature of the beast. So you better love it. And it gets really challenging to coach people online if you've never coached them in person. Let me say this more so along the lines of in the fitness world, right? Because if you don't know what good technique is because you've never had a coach yourself, which is wildly rampant, the number of coaches that are, people like, hey, I know what I'm talking about. I've never done this before, and I've never had a coach before, and I'm not formally educated, but I have a weekend certification. That doesn't really scream, hey, I'm ready to figure out how to scale something, which online training can be really good for, is increasing the reach, increasing the visibility of your brand. If your brand sucks ass because you haven't spent any time building it and it doesn't have any substance to support it because you have no assessment protocols, you have no way to identify what program design pillars need to be prioritized for this particular client. If they're hiring you as an individual kind of coaching experience, then those are the things that I would strongly encourage people to spend 6 to 12 months at least in person full time, which is roughly 2,000 hours, I believe, or sorry, about 4,000 hours of actual coaching experience in person, watching people move. So that way you can give better feedback, which makes you more valuable. Because now there's a bigger arbitrage of more than the client, and that gap is increased to where now you really can't help people for a longer period of time because you have more things that they need to work on. But if you just do the course and you have someone stand on a Bosu ball, on a single leg, doing a dumbbell curl with fuck shit, like, come on, Nazem. When I saw that in the textbook, I need a review there. We should probably do another review of that, but hopefully they've changed it. But I mean, like, yeah, it's all over the place. I would say get your assessment protocols lined out. What are you looking for? What do you need to know to write a better program? And how are you planning on monitoring and giving feedback? Those are really the big components that if you do that, you can do it in person, you can do it online. If you don't know how to give feedback because you're not asking them to send you technique videos, you don't have a platform that's conducive to that. Coach RX, we're working on building our own right now that has nutrition, coaching psychology, a lot of AI built into the actual infrastructure. So you don't have to worry about missing something, pulls it for you. But there's a lot of other solutions out there. True Coach was one that I used back when it was Fitbot in 2014, and getting to see their evolution and how they've kind of fallen by the wayside. So there's never going to be a perfect platform, just to be clear. You just learn how to leverage one effectively and fill in the shortcomings and the gaps. But that's what I would suggest. If you're going to move to the online coaching, please, please, please spend 6 months at least doing in-person fitness coaching. If you can do nutrition coaching, please schedule a weekly consult. That would be your feedback loop. We know that personal trainers keep clients longer because they usually see them more, right? So proximity is a really big component of service delivery in the health sector. And the more high touch you are, to a certain degree, like to the degree that they want it, the better the longevity, the better the outcomes, because you can learn on a faster basis. If you just talk to someone once a month as a nutrition coach, you don't give them any feedback. You don't teach them and train them how to give you better feedback so you can make better programs and you can improve and refine things on a shorter time horizon. Then it's a waste of money for everybody,
Yeah.
So
I would just say, like, the biggest thing for me is make sure you understand the client's expectations and either correct them if they're wrong so that their expectations are correct with what you plan to deliver, or exceed their expectations. Like, those are the two lanes you go. And it's really, here's what they expect, cool, exceed them. Oh, they're expecting this weird thing that I'm not going to do, change course back, and then exceed them. Like that, the biggest thing for me with my first experience is not only did it like not meet my expectations, it was just drastically below. And I felt lost and confused the entire time. Was like, wow, this is not a great experience for me. Again, 5 years ago, I was still like battling the idea that carbs are good for you and necessary. To have somebody, start each day with a bagel. Like, it's like, there's no nutrition in a bagel whatsoever in my mind. Now, today, I'll eat a bagel and I'm like, that's part of it. It's good. But it's just, he didn't help through that, but he didn't even
Mm,
understand that I had that mental thing to work through.
yeah. And he didn't take the time to get to know you. And that's where I say, like, having the feedback loop, if he, and I think you said it was like 2 or 3 weeks before he even got back because he went on vacation and like left you high and dry. And so
Yeah.
the initial 2 weeks is real. The initial 7 days, you want to give yourself as many opportunities to deliver on fulfilling expectations. So at the hey, I'm going to email you tomorrow. Cool, email them tomorrow. You start to build a footprint of reliability, and that builds trust. And that trust allows people to then see maybe there is some validity, or maybe you do know what you're talking about, or I'm willing to take that leap of faith on something that isn't something that I've ever been accustomed to or something that I inherently believe in, and it makes me really apprehensive and nervous. And so when you're competing with people's anxieties and reservations, it's really based upon the social currency that you have. And if you don't have enough of a big enough trust bank account, why would they trust you over their anxiety? There really is no reason. It wouldn't make sense from a
Yeah.
survival perspective. A lot to say about coaching online versus in person. I personally prefer in person. I will skew that way because I think that a lot of what we're going to see in the next 3 to 5 years is people getting back to in person stuff because they're getting AI. You don't even know what the fuck's real anymore. They don't even have to have tag things that AI generated. So I find myself off social media more often than I find myself on it these days because it's just like the amount of shenanigans that you find on there and AI generated shit is, I don't know what to believe. So I'm going to avoid that platform.
I hear you. Well, hope that was helpful. Hope that's just, the two big contention points, pre-client, during client. Think through that, over deliver on those things, create the connection, and you're going to have a way better path forward than most who are overlooking those seemingly simple things. But appreciate you guys listening to Beyond the Pump, where we break down the business of fitness and nutrition. Join us next time. Like the episode, subscribe to the channel, and if you got any questions, throw it down below. Later, gang.
Let the intrusive thoughts win.